No, move over.
Oh, no, you don't.
I don't know. Hold on.
Get out of here.
I need more space.
Okay. Put it at 35 then.
No, we're keeping the 50. So the anniversary is coming up.
Us? Isn't it like 3 weeks from now?
Not ours. I mean, yes, ours is like in 3 weeks, but
Okay,
that's not what I'm talking about.
Save some money on that.
You're not saving money on it. I expect a present. What are you talking about? But no, the 1 year anniversary of the dreaded, of unprecedented time. Being in a panoramic.
COVID?
A pandemic. It's been a year.
It's been a year.
Hey YouTube, it is just us, Jenny.
And Shabartar.
And together, you know the drill, we are
a couple of creators.
Okay, so it has been a whole year since the pandemic. And we figured we would do a little video telling you kind of what our year has been like. Because as you know, the pandemic affected so many different communities, so many different people, so many people's lives, which on a serious note. So as I'm sure all of you watching this know, because we're still literally in a pandemic, the pandemic affected so many people. It affected so many people's jobs. It affected so many different industries, people's lives, families, grieving, traveling. And it was a lot. It also goes without saying that we are so in appreciation of everyone who has continued to help make us safe and to keep us safe. And we are always in solidarity with the families that have been really having it hard. That said, we were also really affected by the pandemic.
100%.
Most of it was rough. And I laugh, but I only laugh because I can't even say we made it to the other side, because like there's no other side right now. We haven't like crossed to the other side.
We're still on that side.
We're still on that side. But we survived to this year. But we made it to,
thank God,
1 year. Are you just adding 2 words after everything I say? Or
yeah, you know me.
Yeah? Just word. 2 words? Say word.
Okay, it's like Scarborough coming up now.
So we thought we would take you with us on the journey of this last year. So rewind to the beginning of 2020. We started January off in Maui, Hawaii. We actually ended up going there to shoot for a wonderful client of ours, Kat Gaskin. We love Kat, who is the founder and owner of the Content Planner. Being there, shooting for her, and just being on the island was absolutely beautiful. We got to meet some incredible local Hawaiians and really also learned about the history of the indigenous Hawaiians, as well as the people whose land it is in the Kingdom of Hawaii. It was illegally stolen. There is a lot of history and reading that you can do on the island. So I don't consider it a state, because it was illegally stolen land. But that's a topic for another day. So we came back from Hawaii, and then we were getting ready for
another tour for 6 weeks. Big
6 to 8 week tour with the one and only Como Minhas. If you don't know Como, you should know Como. Como's great. Como's interviewed Michelle Obama. Como has interviewed Glennon Doyle.
Yeah.
These are the conversations that matter most to me. Our stories of resilience and rising. A blueprint for how to do life, especially when it's hard. That's my jam.
She's been on the same stage as Mindy Kaling. Virtual stage, but still same virtual stage. How many times do you think I can mention Mindy Kaling in these videos before it gets weird?
I stop.
I just need Mindy to know that I'm out here.
I feel like people should probably know already.
She's liked one of my tweets once.
Wow.
She has. Oh, wow. Okay. She's seen like Just Ask Jenny, in her mentions. That being said, we were getting ready to film a 6 to 8 week tour for Como Minhas for her podcast and talk show, and we were also going to be touring for Kat Gaskin's workshops that she was doing across North America right before COVID hit. In fact, I think it was like the week before COVID. Yeah. We booked all of our flights.
What about even like the weddings and everything too?
We did. We also had a full wedding season. We had 10 weddings booked.
Don't forget the photo shoot as well too. Like
we had branding shoots planned. Yeah. We had a lot.
Plus, our traveling involved too. Like It was like...
Yeah, we had flights booked for all of April and May to travel for our clients. And you have to also keep in mind that the year before was the busiest year we'd ever had in our business.
Yeah.
So the year before was the first time we had ever crossed the revenue mark of hitting 6 figures. It was the first time we had shoots booked for clients who were filming workshops.
Yeah.
We were doing branding shoots. We were going on tours with these entrepreneurs to film their retreats, their workshops, and we had so many more plans to continue doing that and to grow that in 2020. Also, if you remember, if you watched the previous video where we talk about how we got married and he started working with me.
That was 2019.
That was in 2019, and he had quit his job to join me full time in 2019. So you were, that was August. So I think you were 5 months into working with me full time. So the last event that I remember us shooting right before everything kind of shut down was for International Women's Day.
CBC.
It was interesting and it was weird because I remember getting the emails from the organizers. I think like the day before, we got an email from the organizers being like, we're not doing it at the same place because COVID. So they were starting to cancel events and starting to not do any gatherings. So they just changed the venue.
It wasn't like start headed yet. Like it was like in the beginning of the stage.
And I remember even Como, who was planning the tour, like we were having meetings trying to decide like, were we gonna push it? How long would this last? Did it make sense? Was everyone canceling events? Then we did that shoot and everything shut down.
Shut it down.
Everything. It was like, over the course of those 2 weeks, we lost well over $30,000 in contracts.
Yep.
We lost our financial security. We lost all of our clients until further notice, and the only source of income that the both of us had.
And we started freaking out.
That sounds really depressing when we say it out loud.
We did start to freak out.
I cried all month of March. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I think you bought plants.
I bought plants.
And started taking care of plants.
Plant doctor, hello.
And it was really hard. Like, as full-time photographers and videographers, this was our whole livelihood. This supported the both of us and paid rent. After that, it took until the beginning of May for us to finally pivot. So it took all of March for me to cry. It took all of April for us to start figuring things out. And in May, I ended up actually launching my very first ever online workshop, and it was the Video Essentials Lab. It's something that hundreds of people have now since taken, and that is something that I did back in May of 2020, and it's wild to me that that was the first online course.
It is.
Because I've done so many online trainings.
But isn't that you wanted to do that?
I did. I've been wanting to do online trainings for, like, I had wanted to do it at the beginning of the year. I had wanted to do it actually like back in 2019. I just didn't have the time for it.
But I feel like this is a great opportunity in a sense.
Yeah, so we finally had the time and the capacity and ability to do it. And to be honest, no other choice than to pivot and find another way to add another income stream into our business. So switched over into doing online courses in May. I ended up actually launching my first storytelling program in September. And in between, we also ended up doing some of our first shoots in the middle of COVID. And let me tell you, remember that day when we did the branding shoot?
Yeah.
That was a lot.
A hot day.
It was super hot. It was in a super hot studio. We had like double masks and like hadn't taken it off for like 14 hours. We had a cleaner in between every single person so that we could make sure everyone felt safe. And then we lived a very COVID 2020 life.
Like cooking, buying 20 flowers.
So what are the things, the like big trends in the middle of the pandemic that we did?
Photo shoots for each other.
We made dough. We bought a lot of flour and we made pizza dough. We also made bread.
We got 20K flour.
We still have the flour. We still have the flour.
It was a lot.
We bought a lot of plants.
Oh yeah, we did.
Most of them are still alive.
Me ended up taking care of it.
Most of them are still alive.
Well, Jenny always says I'm the bad plant caretaker, but like
I never say you're bad with plants. You're great with plants.
Plant, sure.
I know. I just point out when the leaves start to dry, but you are great with plants for the most part. Except for the ones that are dead. We watched Tiger King.
Oh, also my brother had a wedding done, so.
Yeah, your brother got married. That was fun.
It was a cool wedding.
I danced in that wedding.
Yeah, I stood by there.
I looked incredible.
I went for the mango shake, but they just got coffee, so and takeout.
They didn't have mango shakes.
They had coffee and takeout.
Yeah, there was like, no mango shakes. It was like not your typical
Schlangen wedding. Never.
Yeah.
Honestly, Schlangen wedding highlights being mango shake.
We filmed some amazing clients. We filmed a few COVID weddings, so some last minute ones. I think we filmed 3.
We friend as well.
Yeah, and we pivoted. In the end, 2020 still ended up being surprisingly a very, very surprisingly financially okay year. We struggled for the first 2 months.
Shout out to Serb.
That was very helpful and very needed, to be honest.
Yeah, okay, rent.
And now I think looking back a year later, it just feels like this is now our way of life. Things aren't going to be back to normal. We're not going to be traveling, I think, till at least 2022.
Yeah. Well, what about moving?
Except for moving. Except for going up and down the elevator. And moving to the other side of the city.
Pretty fun.
Online courses are definitely here to stay. I think it's something along the lines of a $5 billion industry by the time it hits 2025.
I remember there's Gordon Ramsay courses out too as well.
Oh yeah, Gordon Ramsay has a thing on Masterclass. Yeah. Definitely gonna be watching that.
Yeah, for sure.
What are you most hopeful for in this next year?
I feel like everything lifts off and traveling back normal.
I don't think it's gonna happen in 1 year. Do you think it's gonna happen in 1 year? I don't think it's gonna happen in 1 year.
Probably like traveling by like vehicle in a sense.
I think road trips will be okay.
Road trip, in a sense, yeah.
Yeah, not traveling borders.
No.
In Canada at least.
Yeah, but there's so many places in Canada we can like visit to or travel to.
This is true. I'm really excited.
Northern Light, I haven't seen it, so I had to go check it out. Definitely need to check it out.
I have. You can see this time lapse of the Northern Lights here.
Yeah, I only see it on TV. I've never seen reality.
I think what I'm really excited about is at least a year in, it kind of feels like we found a routine. Even if the routine sometimes sucks, and it feels very much like we're in Groundhog Day.
I feel like as long as people find their partners or like friend or like someone to like hold on to it during that time.
Does that mean you appreciate holding on to me?
Yeah, definitely, buddy. Definitely, you know?
You appreciate holding on to me. Do you hold on to me like this? How do we hold on?
I feel like I have no choice, but she's the one giving me a haircut, so if it's a shout out to her.
I did give you a pandemic, a lockdown haircut. It was a good haircut. I haven't given you a haircut in a while, but it was a good haircut.
Yeah.
Come on, it was good.
It was free. That was just good.
It was good. It was decent. Like, I've never touched a clipper in my life.
I remember Jenny's like, let me do the lineup for shaving. I'm like, no, don't touch your beard.
I didn't touch his beard. I didn't touch your beard. One final question.
Yeah, I don't know if we're doing questions in here. Like, is it gonna be back to question number 2 now? Like,
no, I just thought I would ask you some questions.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If we could tell ourselves something 1 year ago at the start of the pandemic, what would it be?
Hold on tight.
You're in for the long haul. It's a marathon, not a sprint. What title would you give this chapter in your life? I would call it the panoramic, pandemanium. I don't know any other words. I feel like you asked a question answering.
It's not fair.
The pancake? I don't think the pancake.
Why would you answer my question?
Gen Zs would be like.
Hold on. Why are you answering my question? It's not fair.
Sorry. What would you call this chapter?
I
would call this.
No, wait.
The chapter
of you?
Yes.
That was funny.
You know what? I think
it's late to the record, so yeah, it's funny.
It's the name of my program. Shout out to
Chapters
of You. On a serious note, the pandemic has been something that has been really hard. I know we make light of it because it is one of our coping mechanisms of how much of a struggle it's been. But if it's been hard for you, especially if you're a creator, just know that we're here and we're with you and you are not alone. And also, it's a really good time to find your people, find your community, stay connected. Yep. And we're out here in the middle of this panoramic.
Creating, honestly, I would say.
Yeah, find the things that bring you joy
stay
and keep
home
on
and
doing it. And that's the end of that. If you liked this video, be sure to hit subscribe.
Smash that like button.
And don't forget to leave us a comment. How are you doing? What do you need right now? And how can we keep inspiring you to keep on creating?